Hey everybody, welcome back to the live stream. I took a bit longer of a break than I was anticipating, but between the last stream this afternoon and right now, I went ahead and did some detailing on the door in Blender. I baked some normal maps, and then I also baked ID masks for the normals we baked here and the normals we baked up here. What an ID mask allows us to do, we'll go ahead and start with the door anyway. So we'll find our door, we'll solo it. What an ID mask allows us to do is easily apply materials to different colors on a colored image. So for instance, let's say I wanted to do plastic glossy and add a mask with color selection. I can pick from our ID mask, so now only the wires and the frame are painted, and we can go ahead and unpaint the frame by adding a paint. I didn't put a different ID on every object. You technically can, I believe, but that gives us access to our wires, so we'll call this wires. And we'll make these, I don't know, let's just make them like a dark red. Then we'll work with a steel gun mat. So go to our smart materials and grab steel gun mat. Add a color mask, and we'll pick a color. Let's say purple. So I've got the shiny door wires and the steel looking door frame there. And then we'll go ahead and pick blue as well. And that just makes life so incredibly easy. And we can easily unselect the things with a paint layer that aren't supposed to be there. So we'll go ahead and do UV selection. And we'll do the same for the paint layer here. I don't know why those... Oh, we had normals baked on that. No one's ever gonna see it though, so I'm not too worried about it. Cool. It's a good start to our little door here. So we'll assume we'll make the door pretty much like the panel material, but let's go ahead and add some LED colors to our LEDs here. And this is so cool because I don't have to manually paint anything. I can just come to our plastic glossy. I could say LEDs, and we'll make these, we'll add an emission channel. And we'll go ahead and add a color mask. And we'll just select the light blue color. Cool, cool. We can up the tolerance to get that a little bit further out, and maybe lower the hardness to soften it. And we can add an emissive to this. Let's make it like white, and we'll make this like a dark sort of blue. And we can add some paint. Which we can move our color selection up. And I think we can multiply it. Oh, we can't. That's interesting. But we can go ahead and paint this out. Oh no, we can't. This is gonna be an interesting thing to figure out. Also, we're gonna have to lower the tolerance on this. Until it's not affecting that part of the color mask anymore. This is interesting. I've never worked with color masks before, so this is new territory. I figured I'd learn something new. Now I have to figure out what we want this material to be. Let's go ahead with the door, I think. So this will be door frame _2, because that's the smaller bits. And we can do this part of the door frame next, which will start with machinery material. Which it wasn't dragging there for some reason. And we will try to up the tolerance until we don't get these weird white edges. Something like that is cool. When we baked it, we really should have made that middle part a different ID, so we can go ahead and do that in Blender. We can find our door, which I put right here. And we'll take this center edge and we'll make it a different ID. We'll just make it yellow because it's different enough from the red. Then we can bake selected to active and give it a second. Oh shit. I forgot to do a thing. So we'll cancel this as soon as it lets us. I'm pounding the escape key right now. Alright, and then we need to door ID, and we need to make sure that door ID is selected, and then we can bake. I don't know what it is, but my streaming health is not good right now. It's yellow. So that's unfortunate. I don't really know how to fix that. I have gigabit Ethernet. We're just gonna give this a second here. And now it's actually doing stuff. Of course, we're going to need to lower the ray distance. I had it set to 1 for the wires. Yeah, this one we wanted at 1.125. And to bake the ID mask, I'm just baking color from the high poly object that I modeled. And I put a different color on each part that I wanted to be a different ID. Anyway, we can go ahead and tweak settings on our machinery. Tone it down a good bit. until we get something we like. And then we can choose a color. We choose something nice and dark. We'll go with a sort of red color since this is the red zone. And I think we'll apply a machinery material to the main door as well. We'll call this door frame _1. I'll move this under the LEDs so you have the door frames together. Alright, this is baked. So now we can say image, save as, door ID. Come back to substance, and maybe we can reload it in here rather than dragging it in again. Nope, but we can take it and we can drag it back in. Then okay, I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Okay, it is updated. We'll go ahead and do a steel gun mat for the rim of this right here. And then we'll do another machinery for the actual door, just to start. And we will do color selection. We'll pick green. And then we'll tweak the settings. I want this one to be like gray. And then we can lower that rust a lot. Something like that. And then we can add a paint to this by UV and get rid of Oh, I see what we're doing here. Door frame 1 is what we want to modify. So add a paint there. Go back to UV selection. Nope, not that either. Oh, I have set up a problem for myself. So we'll just come in here and manually paint. Or we can just add something above this to cover that up. Or just say that the black looks fine. I don't like this eye being red though. So we'll work on that a little bit. figure out what looks good. Remember, this is from a distance, so it already looks fairly detailed. In terms of this panel right here, we pretty much just wanted the normal, so we'll go ahead and add the machinery to that. And then these right here will be almost like, I don't know, I just wanted like some vent looking detail even though it extrudes. So we'll use just like glossy plastic, but we don't need to do a smart material for that. We can just grab we'll do a matte plastic. And we'll pick this color. And then we'll add a paint. And then we'll come in and modify the properties. We'll make it like a nice gray plastic kind of thing. And we can up the roughness. And then we need some text, which I believe there's a text tool now in Substance. But I could be completely wrong. Looks like I'm completely wrong. Alright, we can do text on that later. Let's just keep moving along. We'll make this like shiny black, I guess. I wish I had set this up as two separate IDs right here. But live and learn. Oh. We'll think about it. We'll come back to the door later and detail it up some more. But for now, that'll do. So let's work on the walls some. Move to the center walls. And we'll do like a maybe sort of steel for those. Which is nice because it is taking our normal map into account. That's really nice. But we can go ahead and tile the steel base like 5 times, 10 times. Yeah, there we go. And then we can make these pipes different colors. I put a few different ideas for that. And for that, I think we'll just use like a nice machinery. And we'll do color mask. And then we'll pick red. We'll also go ahead and turn off the rust for now, or at least lower it a lot. But we'll pick red, we'll pick light blue, and we'll pick these 2 colors. And we'll make these like red pipes. maybe not quite so saturated. And then we can add some color variation. This one will be like brighter. Maybe we'll even throw in some green ones, like your typical pipe colors. And we'll make these pipes green. Which from a distance, that'll look fine. And then we can add a little bit of color variation to the red. We'll just make like a lighter one. And we'll add a color selection to that. And we'll choose the light blue. Nope, I missed it. So now we have some darker red ones, we got some lighter red ones. I think we'll make this even a more pronounced difference. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Then we can grime it up some with some rust or something. And we'll add a black mask and we'll add a generator. And we'll choose MG Dirt, because that's my favorite one. And this just sort of adds some occlusion essentially, but makes it look dirty. And we will adjust the color of that, which I could adjust it here, but that doesn't adjust all of it. That only adjusts part of it, whatever the parameter dictates. So I like to add a filter instead. And we'll do hue, saturation, lightness. We'll desaturate the rust. We don't want this to be like overly red or anything. And then we'll mess with the lightness some. And then we'll continue to mess with the dirt settings a little bit. Maybe not quite that much. Cool. Let's go ahead and knock the railings out while we're here. So we'll select inner railing. And we'll just drag some. Oh, what's the ship interior material? I don't know. Anyway, we'll use some steel. Alright, these don't have to be anything fancy. We can just maybe add a rust flare. So we're down in the engine room, I guess. Just add some dirt to it. All these railings are going to be nice and varied. And then we can mess with the settings of that. So add a filter, hue, saturation. Oh, we lost our dirt. Oh wow, we can desaturate it a good bit, screw with the lightness, just make it like really grimy. Cool. I think we want some further paneling on the walls too. I think, yeah, we want some paneling here, so let's see if the spaceship interior can give us that on our walls. We'll just add this right above steel stained. And this is way too big, so we're gonna tile it by like 10, by like 5, and we're gonna turn off all channels except height and normal. And then we'll come over to height and we'll lower it some, just to add some nice general detail. Cool. Then we'll go to our normal map and turn that down some too. That'll just give us a little bit of extra detail there. So now we can come back and texture this platform area. So we can come back and fix this rotated issue, but let's just block out the materials first to see how it's feeling. So we'll come to our center rims, I guess. That's gonna be that. So we don't actually want that. We want center platform. Oh, these are some cool spaceship panels too. I like to just look around a logarithmic source every once in a while because they add some cool stuff. Anyway, center platform is everything except the ramps and this centerpiece, so we'll go ahead and... Oh man, I could have sworn I had, Oh, diamond will work, fine. Remember, we're going to be standing in the center here, so we're not going to be able to see the outside platform that well. I'll go ahead to logarithmic source and see if they have anything like a better catwalk material kind of deal. Ooh. They definitely do. We will drag this in, import it as a base material, and we'll call it we'll just put it on the shelf permanently. And we're gonna tile the hell out of this. She may decide to change her mind there. Not sure how I feel about this. If I'm being completely honest, I wish this was unwrapped differently. So I wish that this was straight. But I suppose this will work. Then we'll use the steel gun mat like we've been using for a lot of stuff. I wouldn't be using it so much if I hadn't earlier in the game, but I don't want to go back and redo the rest of the game to match. So I'm just trying to match the rest of the game now, while still making it look decent. And then we can definitely lower that. We can probably turn off the sharpen, and we can come in here and lower the scratches. Maybe turn the sharpen back on, but just get rid of the scratches altogether. And then on the diamond plate, we'll add a white mask. Come in here with our UV select tool and get rid of the rims. And then let's pretend that this is split up as like a plate. So we'll divide it into either 4 or 8. And to do that, we're just going to add a fill layer. And we're going to make it dark, rough, and low in height, and turn off normal. And then we're going to add a black mask. Come in here with a super small brush, and we'll just paint on there like that to divide this into panels. Wonderful. And then we can divide it 45 degrees as well. Looks good to me. We're just going to operate under the assumption that the Craftsman isn't perfect either. And this one. Then we can shrink these pretty easily as well. We can take our black mask, add a filter, blur it, and then add a levels. And that'll give us a smooth gradient to work with to really sharp think this down. Although we have, now these panels are like in a weird spot with the ramps. Huh. Let's go ahead and work on this material. Since we've used machinery a lot, we'll go ahead and use that. Give us a nice reflective surface for when we have baked reflections and baked lighting. And we can straight up turn the dust off, and that'll give us a nice reflective surface. And we can change this. And screw with the rust. I kind of like the player area being blue, so we'll screw with that idea. Oh shit, I just screwed with the normals, my bad. Like a blue-gray. And then we'll come to our diamond plates, and we'll put a black mask on that. For now, that will suffice. We're just sort of blocking out before we go in and really detail things up. But now, let's make the ramps like, I don't know what material to make those. Figuring out what materials to make things is one of the biggest challenges. It's a lot of just experimentation, but we can go ahead and work on the outer ramps. And we can continue our steel gun mat material tradition on the railings. Oh, motherfucker. We're gonna have to go in and do individual face selection here. Not sure why that's happening. Do we have some overlapping UVs, perhaps? No, I think it was just a program glitch of some sort. That is weird. I've never seen that happen before. And then we will make these red, glowing LEDs. And for that, we'll add an emissive channel. And then we can come in here and do a lot of work. So we want to add a black mask. No, it'll be easier to do a white mask. And we'll do UV selection. So that gets us down to that. Then we can go ahead and select all these fellas. And we could have done overlapping UVs for these lights and placed them on Unreal or something, but this way we can have a little fun. Almost there. So now we just have a bunch of light bulbs. But light bulbs don't glow evenly. So we're going to duplicate this, turn the emissive off on this one. And then we're going to add a black mask here. And come in and paint. These fine light bulbs. And since they're all gonna not be perfectly centered or anything, it'll add some nice variation. And we can go ahead and blur that. Just so we get a little bit of nice occlusion on the edges. And we can actually darken our plastic color down a decent amount. And come in here and continue to paint. But now we'll actually see the blurred results. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. I'm alright with this. Not too bad of a job, just tedious. And I'm thinking the general color theme of this map is going to be blue, similar to classic mode. This red is nice, but I really liked the eerie feel of the other map I did that was blue, but that we're probably not even going to use anymore. Oh, now we have a whole bunch of lights, and one of them is out. I think we can probably take these and harden them up. So for the emissive one, we're not going to have that affect the roughness. And then for our roughness, we're going to make these more like diffuse bulbs. Cool, cool. And then we'll add a separate material just for the rims. We'll probably use like a nice plastic kind of thing. Plastic grainy looks pretty good. Oh, that's gross. Screw that. We'll just use like a matte plastic. And we can change what it is later. We're just getting assignments in place. and general look and feel. Come back to our UV selection and select away. And save every now and again. Just because it's good practice. And this is starting to look like something. Once we get everything assigned to something, we'll be able to unify it all and make it look really nice. Right now, I just want to get the basis done. We are a long way off from that. But it is looking like something. Now, let's go ahead and just do a steel gun mat for this centerpiece. I think that's landing pad. Elevator pad. Close enough. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Although you'd think the closer stuff, I might come back and make this fancier in the future. Because the closer stuff to the player should probably be fancier. We're going to be facing this way for the robot. People only message me on Slack or Facebook Messenger when I'm trying to get work done. Let's go back to our ramps. We're gonna go to... Oh, we can't do face selection for that. We'll just make the whole end. That's what I get for subdividing those weirdly. And we'll use the same material on the inner ramps. Then we have to figure out what material we're actually going to make the ramps. Alright, so that works as a good start. Let's work on the actual ramp material though. I think we'll make it similar to the tracks and throughout the tunnels, in which case we'll use a reflective kind of deal. Which will be a nice machinery. You guessed it. And we can illuminate this potentially. Thinking like a gray. And then like get rid of the dust so it's nice and reflective, because that looks cool. Or at least tone the dust down. Yeah, like we can still have dust. We'll just tone it down and turn the contrast way down. Oh man, that's not working in our favor at all here. Oh, we're just gonna turn the dust off. It's dumb. And we'll screw with the rust too. Maybe make these a little bit darker. And then we can segment them some. Of course, maybe take this into Photoshop. And make an alpha so we can have like cool segments. So we will maybe do like a track segment like that. Put this on a new layer, go to our paths. And do one of those. Then we can move it all around, center it. Scale it out a little bit. That'll give us a nice track alpha to mess with. Then we can save it as game design, punch bomb, maps, descend, boss map, and save this as track alpha. Come back to substance, grab it, we'll put this into alphas and for this project. And then we will make a new layer. This one's gonna be dark. It's gonna be rough. And it's gonna be low. And we don't need the normal. We don't need the metallic. But what we do need to do is add a black mask. Go into our brush tool and set our alpha. Where's stencil? Oh. We can rotate this 90 degrees. Scale it down a little bit. Start here. And about here. Then stamp one more. About like that. I think this would look cooler if we got a little bit more stereotypical. Did one of these center pieces. And we'll call this track Alpha 2. Go back to Substance, grab our Alpha 2, make it an alpha, import it for this project, and we'll change this to our alpha. And then we'll undo those brush strokes. Can lower the size. Wonderful, except we want to go the other way. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's see if this is the right way. It is not. Go back to 90. Come about this far. Try to match the length of the other one. And pull one of those. And let's see what direction that's going. That's correct. That looks pretty cool. Then we can take these, add a paint, and turn it off for all of these edge pieces. And we have a pathway. I will definitely add some more detail to this platform right here. The platform was sort of a last minute addition. But I think we can desaturate it some. I don't like that blue. We'll just darken it and desaturate it and keep it nice and... Or we can even roughen it up. And only have the platforms, or the ramps be super reflective. Like, we'll make it a little bit reflective. Enough to see some highlights, but not super reflective, like the ramps. Get some nice contrast in there. Alright, what next? Well, I guess we'll finish up the ramps here. These are some nice bigger ramps. These will be ramps outer. We will go ahead and add our machinery base. So I think that's a decent base for a ramp. Add a black mask. We want to do face selection and just these faces, and these faces. And we can make these a similar color. And mess with the rust for sure. And mess with the dust, and by that I mean turn it off. And then we can add a nice fill layer. Make it black all the way up in roughness. Does not affect normal. It's lower, does not affect emissive, and does not affect metal. Add a black mask. Come in here with our fancy alpha we made. Make sure we're painting in the right direction. We are. On the other half, oh, we also want to up the flow to 1. So it looks like it's this one. We'll just start like pretty much right at the edge here. And that'll be cool enough. Remember next. Let's see where this is affecting. Right there. So we'll match it, and then we'll find which one this is, which looks like this one. And we can come in here later and fix that right up, but we're not going to worry about it right now. And you are this one. That worked out nicely. And we'll come in here, we'll delete our alpha. They should make it really easy to get that default shape back, but they don't. Anyway, we're gonna paint this right out. Then we'll add a paint. We'll go to our face selection. And we'll just select these faces. Nice and easy. It looks like it triangulated that for us, which you'd almost expect it to. Nice and easy. Now let's work on our lower rims. I believe that's gonna be our floors. So we'll solo that. We're gonna make our floor another machinery texture. We'll match the ramps. Also get rid of the dust and turn down the rust. Goes nice and shiny. And we'll add a steel gun mat. Black mask. Come in here to UV selection. And just select all these nice and easy. And we can apply the same kind of wall mat down here and down here. So go to our center walls. We'll grab our 2 layers here and we'll go to our lower walls. Just to kind of match. And looks like these are all facing the same direction horizontally. Kind of like it. I think that'll work. We can mess with the normal map here though. We can go back to normal, go to our ship interior plates. And we can up that a little bit. That looks pretty cool. I'm gonna hit the good old save. Save-a-roo. We can come in here and texture. Let's go ahead and make that rim a steel gun mat. Oh, lower rims. We might have to do individual face selection for that, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. But I think worth it in the long run. Let's continue to work our way around, nice and easy. we can get 2 at a time, that's great. I feel like we really need a wall rim of some sort. Might model that in later. And these I feel should be blue. Let's go ahead and change our lighting to something more applicable. So we'll come down to our environments and we'll grab this one. And give it a second to load in. Oh wow, it's actually really bright. I was hoping for something more blue. Oh well. We'll come down and add some stuff to the floor at some point as well, and it's not that hard to update this file and work on stuff. Let's just throw something on our divs. We can get away with like a nice stained steel on those, I think. And we can tile it some. Probably even tile it more because these are pretty big. And we can do something about this wall and darken it maybe. Maybe put something back there. We'll think about it as we're working. Come up to our center rims and apply some materials to those. Alright, we don't even need this layer. Go back to our center walls. Work on our UV selection here. And we'll just select all these. We'll copy our machinery wall. Come up to our ceiling. Paste those. We just want it on this wall right here. And we definitely want to tile it some more. get some nice detail in there. And we can add a black mask, add a black mask. Come in here to UV selection mode. And select these 4 pieces. Oh, cool. We can go ahead and turn off our trash layer so we can see what white stuff we still need to work on. Not that much. We can work on these railings. We'll start with a steel stained, and then we'll just make these pieces different. We can go ahead and tile this a decent amount. It's a good start. And we'll add steel gun matte. Come into our object selection. And just select all these fuckers. And then we can add some rust over all that. And I think we can lower the contrast, up the contrast. Make them nice and grimy. And the dirt doesn't need to be bright red. Ugh. Getting tired. Let's go ahead and work on our tube. First things first, the tank. Make it like glowing blue. Glowing blue-green. Like it's shooting some sort of fuel through it. We'll add an emissive channel. Well, add a folder, put these in it. Glowy. And then we'll add a black mask to the folder. And we'll just do UV. We'll darken this a little bit. So the emissive can really stand out. So we'll paste this. This is going to affect nothing but the emissive channel. Add a nice black mask, and then come in and paint. Which we'll go to our alphas, and we'll find the default circles, which really should be like the #1 thing on there. I don't know why they're not. We'll just paint in some filter, blur it up. Oh, that actually, the fall off on that looks pretty good. And the blur, we need to fix some stuff. That's weird. So it's blurring over the edges here, and that is bad. Bad news bears. And we'll add some noise, like some cloud noise or something, and bubbles into the texture in Unreal when we get there. Oh, that's annoying. Alright, then we'll add a paint. Come in here and with hardness set to 0, we'll just paint off the edges. It's not gonna work. Because it's not nice and smooth. Oh well. We'll take it as it is for now. These are just going to be typical pipes. So we'll call this, okay, that is glowy, that's already labeled. I'll add some machinery for the pipes. You only want this to affect the pipes, of course, so come into Object, Select Mode. Cool. Rust on those is way too high. We'll bring both of these parameters down a good amount. And then we can make these typical pipe colors. And these aren't going to be nearly that shiny. We probably actually want to add a little bit of noise to their height as well. So we'll go ahead and do that too. And we'll do that with the new height layer. Turn down the height. That's a lot. We want this to be pretty subtle. And then we'll go into our materials, our procedurals, and we'll find some noise, like maybe some clouds. Well, first we will add a black mask. And then we will add a fill to our black mask. And we'll grab our clouds and shove it in there. We'll tile it like 10 times, like 20 times, like 50 times. I don't think we're going to get much more detail just because of the size of the UVs. And then we'll tweak the height. We want it to be pretty subtle. From a distance, that looks nice. We'll go ahead and add a nice blue pipe as well. Kind of like the blue better anyway. So I might just do 2 shades of blue instead. I think the red can stay. Alright, moving right along. We'll come in here. Probably gonna have some nice metal holding these tanks together. They're pretty important. Call this pipes. I'll add some stained steel. Add a nice black mask. Come in here to Object Select to select these individual doohickeys. And then we'll come into UV Select. I realized this does not match up, but that's alright. For UV Select, we have to select each of these twice, or 3 times in these cases, or we can just drag like that. Just to make sure we don't select anything else. We can't do Object Select on these because they're part of the tubes. And we don't want to make the tubes metal. Cool. I think we can take that and tile it a good bit more. Much better. We're gonna solo this just because it's getting annoying. Yeah, much better. We'll also put the steel on the rods. And the handles. And mechanisms like this, I never really know what to texture them like, so we're just going to do a lot of experimentation here. I think we can do the steel gun mat for the pipe connection. And we'll just do object selection for that. Nice and easy. And probably for this base as well. I think this is going to be a screen. And for screens in the game so far, I've been screenshotting Blender. So we'll come out here, get a screenshot of the engine room. We'll put a matte cap on it first. We'll hit, I'll go to a more detailed view. Hit print screen. Come down into Photoshop, make a new texture, make it maybe 512 by 512, doesn't need to be any bigger than that. Then we can take Blender here, scale it down to fit, just so it looks like we have some options on the screen. Save it. We can even image adjustments, gradient map. We'll make it like a blue theme kind of screen. And swap these so the shading makes sense. Motherfucker. Maybe even add a little bit of black. Save it as PNG. Come down here and save it as generator screen. File name does not matter because we're just going to use it in Substance to stamp right here. We'll add a new fill layer. We'll grab our screen. We'll put it under texture and use it for this project. And then for fill, for both base color and emissive, we don't really care about any of these parameters. We'll add a black mask, select just the face here, and then we'll tile it until it fits. And we'll rotate it 90 degrees. Now it looks like the screen has something on it. Whether it's meaningful or not, nobody will ever know the difference. You can even offset the UVs a little bit. There we go. And we can adjust the color. Oh, now it looks like a legitimate thing. All the text is upside down, but nobody will ever be able to read it because it's too pixelated. Now we just have the drawers and stuff left to do on this. Which I'm thinking we'll start with machinery, as per usual. It's a really good starting point that we can tweak easily. We definitely don't want nearly that much rust. Something like that. We'll add a black mask. We'll go into Object Select. And we'll fix the screen in just a second. And I'm thinking we want the steel gun material. for this backboard. Hating the yellow, so we'll fix that. We don't want this to be super shiny or anything, so we'll up the roughness some. We'll add to our mask. Go to face selection. And then we'll change our metal base color. And we can slap some warning labels over it. Let's make it electrical. This will be bright blue, I think. Maybe even just black, but raised. And nice and rough. We'll shove this into our alpha. Rotate it 0 degrees. And we'll warn our people about the dangers of electricity. Like that. And then again on this side somewhere. Let's stamp a fire sign here. We're just gonna abuse the preset stuff that they give us. Maybe nothing so obvious though. It's auto-saving. Let's see. Maybe there's also a caution label here. From a distance, nobody will ever gonna know what this stuff is. But it's important to have small detail. And we can mess with the height right here. Get rid of the alpha, so we'll just work with a square brush. And then we'll blur it. And then we'll make the edges a less smooth transition with levels. We'll clip them. And I think we can even break that up once. I kind of like the long. That looks kind of cool. I think we can roughen up the steel. Oh. Not sure why that's not roughening up. Oh, I see what's happening. I'm not adjusting the right thing. We want to adjust It's not there. Where did I put the steel? Oh, steel stained. Duh. You know you need sleep when. We'll just up the roughness value a bit. On solo, we definitely need to detail this up some more. So right now this is all looking pretty bland. It'll look less bland once the objects are actually in there in Unreal though. Speaking of these objects here, let's work on those. At 2 hours, I think I'm going to call it for the night. I might continue working on my own, but talking to an audience of 0 is not the most interesting way to spend my evening. So we'll work on these tanks. We can turn... trash is off, so that's good. Ugh. Top tanks. There we are. I think we can go to our long tube and copy the glowy folder. And add a black mask, but then go to our UV selection. Nice and easy. And we'll come in here and do some painting. I don't know why that's not affecting our emissive, probably because we don't have an emissive channel. There we go. So, we will use our regular brush shape. Add a black mask. I'm not sure why that's not painting. Did we undo the emissive channel? We did. Okay, so now we can paint this. Like so. Remember, we're gonna blur it so this doesn't have to be anywhere even close to perfect. Actually being imperfect will make it look cooler. Add a nice filter. Come in here, paint out a little bit. Come in here, paint out a little bit. That looks fucking awful. So we're gonna paint out a lot. And then blur more. Actually, what we're gonna do, just paint one line down the center like that. And then blur that. I'm not sure where that's coming from. But what we can do to fix it is add a paint, move it down. I think what's happening is I painted other things and it's blurring in from there. Just make sure we're not blurring in from anywhere else. We can continue our blur. Then we can take that and work with the levels. It's all about problem solving. Problem solved. That looks pretty cool. We'll follow suit of the lower tanks and do a steel material. Add a black mask, we only want to affect the connectors. Go to UV selection. We can solo this layer. And when we're actually in the engine and we bake the lighting, the glowiness will affect the environment, so that'll be really cool. I think we can darken this a little bit. While we're at it, let's go to our ceiling and put a material on the wires. We'll just put a nice glossy plastic and add a color select mask of red. And then we do not want the interior metal plates to affect that, so we will add color selection to that of red, and then blacken that out. So we can come up here, make our plastic black, or a dark gray at least, and roughen it up some. Cool, cool. Ugh. Come up here, we'll make the pipe connections. Alright, let's just work on the pipes. We can do the same thing we did on the bigger machine down there. Maybe make it like a dark desaturated red. Oh, I'm on the ceiling though. So we'll cut this, come to our top tanks, and paste it. And then we'll add a black mask. We'll select just the pipes. I have no idea what happened there. And the pipes up top as well. These are going to be harder to clean, so they'll probably have more rust. Harder to clean in the sense of thinking about what it's like to work for this facility. So we'll turn the balance down a little bit, but leave some rust in there. We'll leave the dust alone, and then we'll add some bumpiness. We'll add a layer. Will only affect the height. Down just a teensy bit. We'll go to our procedurals, grab the clouds, and we'll shove that into our mask. After we add a fill. And then we can tweak the height here. And we can definitely tile the clouds. Which is going to want to make me affect the height less. Got to be subtle with that. And then I think we can make it less glossy. And then, let's make these the dark blue instead. I liked that better. Cool. And also remember there's going to be shadows and stuff all over the place, which is going to obscure a lot of this anyway. Alright, moving right along. We'll finish these up with just a generic material for these base pieces, maybe shove on some LEDs. For that, we'll just... Honestly, machinery again. I like to start with machinery a lot because it already throws on a rust layer. Well, we can just take this and modify it to a different color to suit our needs. And roughen it right up. Add a black, remove mask, add a black mask here, and we only want to select the bottom pieces and the top pieces. Maybe add some LEDs to show their status. So we'll make this purely emissive, like it's coming through the layer. And we'll make it like a nice green to show that it's working properly. And we'll add a black mask. We'll come over to our brush and we'll just paint it in. Or... yeah, we'll call this green light, and we'll put some of that right here. Let's do like 3 green lights, maybe an orange. Paint these back out. And then a red. then we'll add like a little indentation here for these to be housed in. Which, let's come down here. They're pretty straight here, so it'll be easy to just select point A, select point B, maybe go over it a couple times. From a distance, that'll look fine. Maybe widen it up just a teensy bit. Just small details. And we can do the same things over here. This one we'll put like an actual symbol though. And then some regular ones. Trim the center of the map. It's definitely visible. Then we can take this and paint a nice area around it. I'm gonna use my pen for that. Oh, that is ugly. We'll refine it. Make it nice and round. Still looks like complete garbage. Yeah, that looks awful. So we will paint this out completely because it looks like complete trash. Dumpster fire, I think would be an accurate term for it. And then we'll come in here and just paint around these two, I think. And leave the big one alone. Then, we still have pretty much the whole ceiling left to do. It's been 2 hours. I'm going to call the stream quits for the night. And I'll probably be back tomorrow working on this some more. So y'all have a good night. Anybody who might potentially be watching, I think it's 0, but have a good one.